Hi guys, I thought I would just show you where we're at now with my Avengers commission that I'm working on, and kind of almost there now with it. And I did say in my last video that I would show you how I use my pastels to weather my pieces. And I've just started to do that on this piece now, as everything now I want on the piece is in place, apart from the Avengers A, which I hope to have finished tonight, so then we can get a proper little look at the diorama. But basically, where we're at now with the weathering is I've just started to weather my signs that I've made, and these signs I print off from the internet, from Google, on my printer, and I use the smallest print setting. I think it's like a contact sheet size that I do them. And I've done two for this dio. I've done the speed limit one, and I've done the no parking one as well. And they kind of work well scale wise with the 6-inch figure range, so that's pretty cool. And I've started to use my pastels on this part, some parts of this now, and as you can see, the light's not great in here because I've got the sun coming in from my window on my left, so it's kind of being a bit annoying. You can't see properly the depth of colour on this, but I've started to weather the sign, and I generally use these are the colours I'm using at the moment: the black, the browns, and some sort of like a rusty colour. So that's what I've also added to the little pole here as well. I've used some black pastel and some brown and some rust colour on that one, and I've also done that on the wires as well throughout the piece. Just added a little bit of rust colour to them. And the no parking sign over here, I've also done the same. I've started to weather the sign, and using the pastels, and again exactly the same thing on the pole, using the black and some rust colour. The signs I've actually spray glued to chipboard, so oh god, don't want to break that. So it's quite sturdy, and then I've kind of painted around the edge silver just to kind of give it that sign look. So they're pretty durable, and then I've kind of bent them up a little bit to make them look sort of bashed up a little bit. And I've also started to weather the little accent pieces in the piece as well. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. And when I was saying to you about my how I do my pastel work, basically I use soft pastels, and these are the cheapest pastels you can get. So these were from the range, and I think they were either $4 or $5.99 for the whole thing. I did a lot of research on weathering, on model making and all that kind of stuff, and they always said to use soft pastels, not the hard pastels. I think the hard pastels have got too much oil in them, so they don't go as crumbly as these do. I mean, you can use sort of the modelling type weathering powders, but I've just got used to using these, and they kind of give a good effect. Again, I might well try them in the future, but for now I'm really happy with these. And basically what I do is I've got some sandpaper, and you can see these are well used and I'm still using them because I'm tight and I don't like to waste anything. So I'm just going to keep using them until there's no sandpaper left on them. And I just rub the soft pastel into the sandpaper, the colours that I want, and it's pretty straightforward. I use one of these little brushes here, and it's a really soft brush, this one, and I've had this one for quite a while. I did have two, and I used one for applying any sort of dampness to the model, and then a dry one, but I've kind of ruined the other one because I go through paintbrushes like you would not believe. So I kind of use something like this now, a little bit of water, and if I want to have a real dark effect or something. I tend to find that the pastels work really well on the foam, really well. I don't actually need any water, because if you notice, if I just take some black here now and start to rub it in, it actually adheres to the foam really well. so I don't need to actually apply much water to the piece. But when it comes to stuff like this, like the shiny feel to it, it just doesn't stick to it. So what you have to do then is you have to get a little bit of water, just a little bit. Add your water on, and then get your pastel and then add it on. As you can see, then it adheres to it, and then it will dry onto the piece. So basically, that's how I've learned to do it. So basically, anything the foam, I don't have to use much water at all. But when it comes to the window frame here, which I'm going to do quite similar to the pole, then I will have to adhere some water to it to actually get the pastel to sort of stick to it, because it's too shiny. The material's too shiny for it to stick to. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment, and I just thought I'd sort of show you guys how I do it. Whether it's right or wrong, who knows, but it works for me, and I don't think there's any real right or wrong way, as long as you get the effect that you want, then I say go with it. And sometimes with the airbrush obviously gives a beautiful finish, but I tend to find sometimes with some pieces that people can be a little, well, from the stuff that I've seen, some people can be a little bit heavy with it, and you can go too far with it, and it starts to look, I would say, unrealistic. I mean, I'm not saying this looks realistic as such, but I think with the airbrush you can go too heavy with it. So for now I'm going to stick with my pastels, and I'm really happy with the effect that I get from them. So this is where we're at now, and hopefully my next video will be the finished product. Speak to you soon.